It's Saturday evening. It's time to talk about the very best books in the entire comic book universe, and we've got a good week to talk about. But Drew is in New York City with our good friend Aaron, and stepping in is Dylan. How you doing?
I'm doing good, and I'm excited to talk about comics today. And there's a lot of good Batman comics out.
And the biggest one probably is Absolute Batman number 13. I don't know that I'm going to call this a hot or a recommend, but we do get some major debuts. We knew Absolute Catwoman was finally going to have their for real debut after a cameo last week. They're sporting like a helmet, like they're the Black Mask, beating the crap out of Alfred, who's supposed to be a highly trained operative within special forces and stuff like that. And she felt a little too girl bossy to me. And then the relationship between her and Bruce Wayne in this universe feels a little too unhealthy for me as well.
Overall, I liked it, but it was a step down compared to the issues we've had recently, which were just all gas, no brakes, really good. And this Catwoman, I just didn't care about her. We got the announcement about her new series, her Absolute Catwoman, and this issue didn't make me want to pick that up. There are some questions raised that they just kind of glance over, and that's it, like her having the same helmet as Black Mask. Batman points it out, and they're like, that's fine. It's like, no, she's been gone for a while. You would delve more into this, especially with everything he just went through with Arkham. That didn't make a whole lot of sense, but there's still some fun Batman stuff in this that I enjoyed. But Catwoman, I didn't really care for.
And it seemed like she's fully aware of what Bane is and Arkham is. Yes. Like, how are all these people aware of this really weird, insular, clandestine operation that's apparently happening, in the shadows, but everyone that talks to Bruce Wayne knows about it?
With everything Batman just went through these last couple issues, he would immediately just be grilling her about that. He wouldn't just be like, nah, that's fine. We'll get to that another time. Immediately, because he just went through hell with all that crap he went through, and he doesn't care. That didn't seem to add up, especially with how intense this Batman is, with everything we know about him. You think he would go more to the heart on that.
Yeah, so I thought that was strange, but it was also a stealth first appearance of Absolute Harley Quinn. I guess we are supposed to be wondering who the leader of the Red Hood gang is. He did mention them in the last issue. So when it was revealed to be Harley Quinn, it didn't really hit very hard. And then when you see the look of this new Absolute Harley Quinn, I think it just kind of looks stupid.
It's not a great design. It's a very ugly design. I didn't know that we were supposed to be pondering who the leader of the Red Hood gang was either. So it wasn't like the reveal didn't hit. It was just like, oh, I'm Harley Quinn. It's like, oh, I thought this was just we're just taking out some bad guys here. I didn't realize this was supposed to be a thing. And then it was revealed, and I just didn't care.
Yeah, so she's bald. She's got a neck tattoo. She's got an enormous hoodie and some chucks. I am a bit Harley'd out myself. I don't like seeing the character really show up in any book at this point.
They've ruined her. She's not an interesting character anymore. They kind of baby her now, where she's like, oh, every bad thing she did doesn't really matter. She's good now. Her showing up at DCKO doesn't make any sense why she's there or why they would allow her to be there. And every time she's anywhere, it's like this person did horrendous things, murdered people, but it's all water under the bridge now because she's a lesbian. So it's cool.
Yeah, so that's Absolute Batman. Major debuts in there, got a little bit of spec value, and there were definitely a lot of great covers because you had the debut of Absolute Catwoman. Now let's get over to the indie scene and some of these big comic books that we definitely want to recommend. Starting out with G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, number 321. Larry Hama writing, Chris Mooneyham on art. This is another silent interlude, obviously paying homage to A Real American Hero, number 21, probably the most famous issue of G.I. Joe in the history of comic books. And Larry Hama, once again, has what it takes and knows how to craft a silent issue here. We've got Dodd, we've got Snake Eyes. They're in there doing weapons training. They got their headphones on. They can't hear anything. All of a sudden, the pit is hit with this enormous weapon that's using sound to knock everybody on their asses. And they're the only ones that are immune to it until they get roadblocked back in the game. And the art by Chris Mooneyham is just so next level when it comes to visual storytelling. You didn't need any dialogue, and I thought it was a great book.
It was great. Chris Mooneyham draws the hell out of this issue. I thought it was very funny when they're in there and they got their ear pro on so they're not affected. Don's dumbass instantly goes to take it off. And Snake Eyes are just like, no, you idiot. You think there's a reason everyone else passed out but us? That was a great little detail, but it was so much fun, action-packed. It looks amazing, and I really enjoyed it.
A Real American Hero is probably like that unsung book that everybody should be reading, especially if you like G.I. Joe. It's been really, really good. Also going to recommend Transformers 25, Robert Kirkman writing, Dan Moore and Jorge Corona on art. beginning of a new chapter for Transformers. And there are some major changes in here. Robert Kirkman is going back to like the comic book voice and cadence of several characters that Daniel Warren Johnson hadn't incorporated it all into the comic books. The art takes an enormous turn once you go from the opening Jorge Corona Megatron sequence to the Autobot stuff going on that's more centric to Optimus Prime himself with Dan Mora. The Dan Mora art is gorgeous. It looks great, but it feels so weird in comparison to the Jorge Corona stuff. A lot of moving parts in this issue. You can see that Robert Kirkman is taking Transformers in a new direction along with his Energon universe. While it was definitely jarring, I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm not a Transformers fan at all. This is my first issue of this series. The art was great. The Corona art is definitely much messier and has like a darker feel to the Mora art, which is much cleaner. But I liked both. I thought it looked great. As far as story-wise, I have no idea anything that's going on because I don't really Transformers. There's one thing I know about Transformers. That's that Optimus Prime is the red and blue guy. So there were like 4 red and blue guys in this. So I was like, who the hell is Optimus Prime? I didn't know anything that was going on, but it's a very nice looking book. And I'm assuming if you like Transformers, you'll like it. But I have no idea.
Definitely major changes ahead for the Energon universe, and it'll probably end up affecting the regular G.I. Joe series as well. Also going to recommend Nemesis Forever #2, Mark Miller writing, Matteo Scalera on art. This is the final chapter of the Nemesis trilogy that Mark Miller has been working on for the last several years now, and more about the special agent that has had her own eye removed so she can infiltrate Nemesis' team of villains that are going to help him execute a couple of more terrorist threats around the world. I kind of dig the way that she's getting in there and some of the barriers that are being put up there for her, which is going to create a lot of havoc later on. When we finally do get to Nemesis, he's more day-to-day billionaire persona than he is Nemesis itself. But he does take the opportunity to include this outspoken journalist that's been criticizing his billionaire persona and make sure that he includes her in the terrorist attack.
This series just more of Nemesis being an absolute bastard just throughout it, just doing horrific things. And that poor CIA agent lady is just in hell. There's a reveal in this where she's going through some things that are really rough that I won't spoil. And it's interesting to see what's going to happen ahead because that lady is in a tough situation.
Definitely enjoying the final salvo of Nemesis. Probably won't ever see that character again. Also going to recommend Conan the Barbarian, 25, Jim Zub writing, Alex Horley on art. So we have a guest artist. It's a double-sized issue. The first appearance that we've really seen of King Conan. Pretty cool stuff here. We have a wanderer that arrives to his kingdom in Aquilonia, wants an audience with the king, offers him this great prize if he gives him the hospitality of a statesman from another place, kind of joining them, gets the best room, gets all the food and wine that he wants. And it turns out it's a bit of a ruse. And then we get played out this almost Norse epic level saga being illustrated or painted by Alex Horley. It just looks great. I love this one.
It was great and a very gorgeous comic. And I love when he comes in and the strangers just, I'm just going to chill here. And everyone's just, what's going on? All of Conan's servants, everyone in the kingdom's like, this guy's freaking me out. Conan's like, he's doing nothing but just chilling. I saved you guys from all these horrible things in this kingdom. And now you're just mad about this. You guys are pampered. Let's just leave them alone. And then everything gets revealed. It goes through the trial. You get to see the different versions of Conan. Their battles epic. Conan drops some great lines. It was a really good read.
If you love Conan the Barbarian, you are definitely going to love that comic book. But we've got another indie book to recommend, The Sacrificers 16, Rick Remender writing, Max Famara on art. I think this one had been on hiatus for almost 6 months at this point. I'm a huge fan of The Sacrificers. I forgot the book was coming back, and I wasn't able to read it.
It's great. There's no building up into the new arc. It picks up where it left off. You get an epic battle between Rokos and Pigeon, and Rick Remender's at the top of his game right now. The writing in this is so good. You can see some things happen with Saluna towards the end where she has some choices to make. It's so good, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here. And of course, the art is great as always throughout this series. I love this. This was my favorite of the week.
When he hits it so hard, it's not even fun.
Yeah.
And he's definitely been hitting it with Sacrificers. Definitely need to catch up on that one. Moving over to Marvel Comics, we have a book to recommend. Marvel Knights Punisher #1, Jimmy Palmiotti writing, Dan Panosian on art. This is a confounding book, to me at least. I know you enjoyed this one far more than I did. I enjoy the art by Dan Panosian, and I do like the amount of violence that are in here. Punisher's doing some pretty crazy stuff, and I enjoyed all of that. But everything with the story bothered me. I don't like El Zombie. I don't like the way that they got to this thing. And then by the end of it, I was just kind of waiting for it to be over. I don't, for the life of me, understand how this could or does or will connect to the world of tomorrow or whatever it is that they're doing with Marvel Knights right now.
I have no idea how it connects to any of that, and I could not care less about any of that. I read like 5 Marvel books right now, and I picked this one up, and it was great. The art was fantastic. I love that it's just straight Punisher. I thought El Zombie was cool. I love those zombies showing up and their fight, and it's brutal. This thing's just keeps going. This was kind of what I wanted from Punisher #1, the Red Band book, where it's like you get like 2 pages of Frank in that, and then the rest is mainly Kingpin. This, you get a lot of Frank. Don't really care for his design. I was not the biggest fan of that, but the rest of the art is great, and it's very violent. I just had fun seeing Punisher do his thing. And I like that there's an obituary at the end for all the people Punisher kills. I thought this was a fun book.
If you're looking for violence, that book will definitely get you your fill, because there's a lot of people getting taken out in that one. Moving over to the distinguished competition, we were going to recommend DCKO #1, Scott Snyder writing, Javi Fernandez on art. This is a love-hate book for me. I do not like the beginning of it. The first 20 pages are Scott Snyder cosmic gobbledygook nonsense that doesn't really mean much, setting up the stakes and how we're getting into this tournament. Do not think about the first 20 pages. Just get through it. Once you get to chapter 3 and the fighting starts and the tournament starts, or the rules are presented and all the things that are happening, and you get these amazing pages by Javi Fernandez with some of the most wild layouts that you're ever going to see in comic books. And then the comic book goes up to like a 15, and it's really, really enjoyable. I really like seeing like Detective Chimp with a battle axe. I like seeing some of the weapons that they were able to procure and bring into this tournament. And there are some twists and turns along the way. We were certainly lied to with at least one of the participants in there. And I do like seeing that it's definitely Superman-centric.
Yes, yeah, I think we completely agree on this, where the first 2 chapters are just, it's not what you want. It's more of that Dark Knight's Death Metal bull crap, where it's just, who cares about any of this? If you think too hard on it, it all falls apart. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But once you get to chapter 3, it also feels like Javi Fernandez kind of felt like the reader, because that's when he wakes up too. That's when he just goes pedal to the metal, and some of his panel layouts in this are incredible. And when the action hits, it's awesome. I love the Superman characterization there too. I love reading about it. And at the end, you see who the narrator is. And so it's interesting putting that together and seeing the narrator's perspective on Superman. So that was cool, and I loved that. And there's some cool stuff between the Superman Batman relationship there too that I liked. But yeah, it was a pretty good first issue. It's just those first 2 chapters are not too compelling.
Do not like the Batman armor that he chose.
Terrible, straight bullshit. I don't know why, because he has cool Justice Buster armor, and this is Justice Buster 2, and it just looks terrible. Like he had 15 seconds and some scraps to make it.
DCKO, there's some fun to be had. It's kicking off the big event. But turn your brain off for the first 20 pages, and that's the best way to do what I say. Moving over to Aquaman #10, Jeremy Adams writing, John Timms on art. The thing I like about Jeremy Adams as a writer so much is that you get some of these issues that are a little bit kooky, a little bit wild. Flash trying to vie for the intergalactic, tag team championship in wrestling. And here we've got undead pirates being brought back to life, trying to find their booty, and Aquaman has to stop them. And Aquaman versus dirty pirates, fighting over booty, is right in my wheelhouse of fun. And I think John Timms has just been killing it every single issue on Aquaman. This is the most fun Aquaman has been, really, I guess, since like the New 52. And I really do like that Dan Abnett run, but I think this is even better. So I've enjoyed this. I love pirates, and this is all in my wheelhouse.
This was a lot of fun. Aquaman fighting ghost pirates was great. John Timms has been getting better with every issue. This book has kind of been my healing with John Timms, because Son of Superman was so bad from Tom Taylor, and it wasn't John Timms' fault at all. It's just that's what I associate him with. So every time I saw his art, I'd get a little PTSD. But throughout this book, I'm like, all right, yeah, John Timms is just really good at what he does. And the way he draws the ghost pirates in this looks so good. And Aquaman's constantly dropping one-liners in this the whole time, making like pirate puns. It was great.
Really enjoyed that one. Love seeing Aquaman doing some fun stuff at DC Comics. Our final recommendation, Batman and Robin 26, Phil Kennedy Johnson writing, Michael Osio on art. We get the quiet man. It had been hinted at that maybe something happened to his son. That is, in fact, why he's going after the Penguin. But he's not only going after Penguin, he's actually going after the Two-Face as well. What are the really big highlights beyond the quiet man? And I love this character. is the awesome relationship between Bruce and Damian now, skipping across like the rooftops, having dad-son conversations as they jump down and pounce on a bad guy's head and send him off to jail, not missing a beat and just continue talking about whether or not they can go to the movies again. So I love the characterization of the relationship. The Quiet Man, even though he speaks quietly, has some really good one-liners. So everything about this book really hit me.
Yes, this has been the best ongoing at DC ever since Philip K. Johnson took over, and this new arc is no exception. I love the Quiet Man. He gives Damian some what for in this, and kind of gets on Batman for like, why would you bring a child in the battle? That was great, and I love the talk between Bruce and Damian in the Batcave too. And Damian's training, and there's some funny stuff there where he actually takes out the the civilian when he's training. He's like, she looks suspicious, and Batman's like, yeah, she did. It's he gets their relationship dynamic perfectly, and this is just such a good book, and I'm intrigued to see where it goes because they're hiding someone, Penguin and Two-Face, and who is it that they're hiding from the Quiet Man? What's going on there? I can't wait to see what unfolds next. It's been so good.
And I've been a big FICO Ocio fan for a long time, but this is kind of your first introduction to him. I think the art is better now.
Oh man, I think it's really good. I think it's on par. I don't know, because I really like the art from the last arc as well. But it's not a step down at all. It's so good. Batman
and Robin definitely firing all cylinders, and DC continues to just kind of mollywop Marvel when it comes to the big two right now. It's not really even a contest, and this is your monthly Batman week. You get all the great Batman books, and we even had Dark Patterns, which was fine, but not quite good enough this week.
No, not quite as good, but still the Hayden Sherman art, and that is incredible.
Yep. So that'll do it for Best of the Week. If you would like a little bit more of this, maybe 2.5 hours worth, you can go get the Hot or Not podcast right now, exclusive on Patreon and channel memberships. Jim and myself get down, talk about all the big releases from Marvel, DC, and indie comic books every single Thursday. Hope to see you there very, very soon.